Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Market Rants. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Hope you guys are in for a good mood today, because I sure am. Let's go ahead and take a look at the markets, right? BTC up 4% today, right? Couple of hours ago, right? Like 10 hours ago or so. Things weren't looking that good, but here we are again, pushing up against the upper ranges. We go ahead and check the top gainers. Guys, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. You've got a ton of things on Sol pumping and a bunch of other random things as well. Moo the Bull on Sol, Wizard on Sol, just a ton of things on Sol pumping quite severely, right? And then, you've got random tokens that don't really appear on CoinGecko for whatever reason. This thing has been going crazy on Solana right here as well. Sigma, some of our guys got into this one earlier. Retardio is also doing quite well today. Things on Ethereum, man, have just been lagging over and over and over again. I'm here joined by Louie. We're here joined by MisterSpread. We're going to go ahead and talk all things markets, guys. And what a shocker, what a shocker, what a shocker yet again. We see Solana outperforming Ethereum. So, guys, even though we've had the spot Ether ETF going live, doing billions of volume over the last couple of days, 9 figures plus in inflows, there's still some selling from Grayscale. So, I do believe they've gotten rid of like over 50% of their bag, right? So for every like $100 million in inflow, there's about like 200 million in sell pressure, right? So it is what it is, man. Sol is just the top dog this cycle, man. Louis, there is some background noise from your end, man. It is starting to pick up here.
That wasn't me. I think that was.
Oh, is that you, Spread?
I don't know. How is it now?
Good now.
Yeah. It's all right, man. It's all right. But yeah, man. Solana kind of gave us a signal earlier this summer, man. It actually bottomed out in June, had a little double bottom here, and now it's pressing up against range highs. So you really got to ask yourself, right? If the year-to-date high for Solana, is pretty much right around here, what happens when you have something like BTC, go well over 70K again, right? And look at ETH, right? It really seems like Ethereum is just something where BTC can be at new all-time highs, and the best thing ETH would probably do is probably be at like 4,100, 4,200, and Solana's probably at new all-time highs. And once again, man, all you really have to do is just take a look at the data, right? Something as normy as CoinGecko, right? Aura, that's another bag that I got into pretty early. The data is just telling you that people just want to speculate more on Solana versus Ethereum, right? So, Ethereum was kind of looked at as the brain dead trade of this cycle, right? But there hasn't really been much activity on Ethereum compared to Sol, right? Like, you're even starting to see in real time more inflows and stable coins come onto Solana compared to Ethereum, right? But I do think ETH season will come at some point, but probably won't happen until Bitcoin is probably at new all-time highs. And it is what it is, guys. But go ahead and smash that like button, smash it up. We're here joined by Louie and MisterSpread, brought to you by Because Bitcoin Market Rants. We're on a lovely Friday afternoon. So, man, Spread, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm very good. I'm very happy to be again here. Wabi, thanks for the invite, and I'm very happy to see Louis live. I mean, me and him, we exchange charts. We spoke also a little bit about some, family stuff in the private. I'm very happy to see him also here live and finally able to talk markets with him.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Officially.
Man, Spread, isn't it crazy, brother, how 12 hours ago it was all doom and gloom, and then we basically had like a 5% pump to the upside. And this is during a Bitcoin conference, by the way, guys. And typically during a Bitcoin conference, we relentlessly nuke. So just to put it out, right? And
we have to thank Peter Schiff, because Uncle Peter, all the time he comes to the rescue. When we were around 54K, he tweeted like some some bearish things like 40K is coming, 30K is coming, who's gonna bag hold, etc. And I thank him. I said, thank you, Uncle Peter, for the bottom signal. And guess what? That was the bottom signal. Now, last night again, he was talking some smack regarding the Bitcoin conference, etc. Some of his fellow boomer gold holders, they were saying the same thing. And guess what? Today in the morning, we got the shift pump. I'm gonna call it like this, the shift pump. And this is where we are today. But I don't know. I think that him and his son, they collaborate together and they have like a huge bag of Bitcoin, man. It's impossible for something to be so much on your mind, to take so much of real estate, to be so obsessed of a thing and to just deny it. I don't know. It's like, for me, it's a no-brainer that he has a big bag of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and people forget, man, that like, yeah, we've been in a long range for months and months and months, but like the real indicator of strength or weakness is going to be told 6 months after the halving, right? Like come November, we have to be, pushing towards 75K plus, right? But
yep,
always in ranges where people lose their minds. And the fact that like you're now starting to see some things on Solana, and I do want to share something here real quick, man. I know this is like, oh, it's a shitcoin or whatever, but this is a trait that we've seen the entire cycle for Solana, right? So this is a token that I bought a while ago, man. And look at this thing, dude. Look at this thing.
You're not sharing. We see Bitcoin chart.
Oh, my bad. Let me fix something on StreamYard here. There's a little bit of a beeping noise.
But no, it's fine. It should be good.
So take a look at this, right? You have something like this on Sol, right? Pumps all the way to like 35 million, then basically goes down to sub, well below sub 1 mil. And then this thing got listed on Moonshot, which is like, some normie app, right? Where you just buy Sol meme coins using Apple Pay. And every single thing that has gotten listed on this has gone parabolic. Wow. So you're starting to see some things, going from like 0 to almost 100 million, like that, right, in a couple of days. And like it brings me back to like early Q1 of this year when things on Sol were going absolutely crazy, and Ethereum wasn't really doing much, dude. ETH wasn't really doing much at all. So man, it's sort of like deja vu, man. But Spread, what are you personally seeing out there, man? If you want to share any charts,
sure,
feel free to bring them up and I'll add it to the stage here.
Sure, I'm gonna keep it in the Sol family because it's worth talking about.
Yeah,
and this is something that caught my eye. I was drafting it. I was charting it over the weekend, and I was just waiting to see what type of confirmations we're gonna get, like what type of follow through we're gonna get in the last few weeks. And this is what we got, man. I think this is one of the most important charts that we have out there for altcoins. Already someone today, I don't know, for some God knows reason, he got salty and he said, oh, Solana's never gonna reach 380 until December. I was like, man, listen, I don't know if he's gonna reach it until December or not, but I'm a chartist and I'm a technical analyst. If I see a chart and if I see something that gets my eye, I'm gonna fucking chart it. This is not a forecast. This is nothing. This is a probability of something that might happen or might not happen. For now, we have the left shoulder, we have the head, and we have the right shoulder, and this is Sol versus Bitcoin, and it's a fucking textbook potential inverse head and shoulders. Once we're gonna get above this area, so when Sol is going to outperform Bitcoin and we're going to get above this area, most likely we're going to just rally towards 275 for Sol. And at that point in time, we may see a retrace. But if I say it, I say it. So I don't disagree with anything that you just said right now. I think Solana right now, it's a hot ecosystem. I have been trading Solana all this week. I had some beautiful setups. Even now, even like on intraday, has this beautiful bull flag, and I think it can just match higher. On daily, I just posted 2 days ago this double bottom. It's a clear double bottom, which means reversal pattern. We had the neckline, we broke above the neckline, we retested the break above the neckline, and like I just said, I think 187 comes very fast. Once this is going to be clear, 205, and after that is kumbaya, brother, towards the all-time high. And based on that, I just went to some Solana betas. I'm not so degen like you are, I'm a bit boomerish, so you are more in the trenches than me. But I have Jupiter, which basically has almost the same setup, but this has like a falling wedge, also double bottom here. So Jupiter from Solana, still bull flag. Radium, look at Radium. Radium is almost picture perfect what Solana did a few days ago. So look at Solana, look at the Radium right now. We just broke above the neckline. We just retested the neckline, and I think this is game on for Radium. If Solana continues and Bitcoin does not shed the bed, we have around 12, 15, 14% profit just from here. This is from a trading perspective. From an investing perspective, I think that Radium looked already good from lower values, and if Solana continues to do what Solana is doing right now, I think this is a no-brainer. Like Radium, Jupiter, this is for a little bit more cautious plays, right? Cautious allocations, but I really like Solana. I really like how Solana is looking right here. This is what I'm seeing in the markets. I posted something about Pepe, and I think Louie also retweeted my tweet, so I have to take my hat off for him because of this. And I basically just said, listen, what if this move right here is basically similar with this move that we had right here? So we had an inverse head and shoulders. We broke above the neckline. We rallied 100%. Now, the same thing is happening right here. We just need confirmation above this area. And after that, obviously, to take out the previous all-time highs. But I think that once those motherfuckers, Berry and Grayscale, stop selling or they finish up their bag, I think that Pepe is gonna again lead the Ethereum train. So this is what I like.
Brother, I got something to share for you, man. Look at this. I know you love charts like this, so let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. You're gonna love this, man. You're gonna love this.
Yeah, you told me about Billy for a long time, man.
What's gonna happen once Sol makes all-time high? Again, like this thing, right, has already undergone a CTO or whatever, right? It had a major pump to almost 100 mil, and then it had a giga dump to like 20 mil, right? So you're starting to see a ton of things on Sol, right? Even something like GigaChat, right, which is one of like my larger holdings on Sol, right? This thing is
not Tiger was speaking about this nonstop, man. He was like, buy GigaChat, buy Giga.
Look at this, dude. Like, I'm sorry to say it, man, but like if it wasn't for Pepe and Andy and Wolf, like ETH is honestly trash. I can't think off the top of my head outside of that and Mog, there is zero to trade on ETH. Zero. Like we need, like as left curve as it is, we actually need like crypto AI to catch a bid. And if we want crypto AI to catch a bid, now we can touch upon the equity markets here a little bit, man. But like, here's an
don't get me started with the equity markets because I'm gonna go berserk right now. I want to share something like now.
And but look at this, man. Look at this. Like Nvidia is about to pull off a classic bull market retracement. And usually in bull markets, whenever something goes parabolic and needs to chill out a little bit, it typically retraces about 20-ish%. And that typically goes back to like its previous high earlier in the year. You take a look at Nvidia, it's probably like at the very most, right? Because I don't want to be too bearish. Probably going to retest something like 95, right, over the next couple of weeks. And there is something to say about like, hey, is it possible for crypto to rally while stocks, kind of bleed, right? So I got this to share for you, right?
Yes, so it's possible.
If you guys take a look here, right, you'll see that on October 16th, right, SPX started nuking relentlessly. We kind of topped out, like right around here, August-ish, we topped out, and then we basically went into a giga downtrend, a literal like giga downtrend. But if you guys were active in the market at that time, right, you'll see that Bitcoin, right, like had already sort of front ran that move back in August, and we were live on Spaces, if you remember, right? Like right here during this time, we were doing Spaces.
Do you remember Nakamoto that evening? We're going to 11K.
He was going crazy, but take a look at this, guys, right? So right here, right when SPX started nuking, Bitcoin actually started pumping from 28K all the way to 35, right? So interesting data point here, right?
I agree.
October 16th all the way to the 25th, Bitcoin basically pumped about 8K, right? Now we go back to the S&P 500, right? What happened during that time period? the S&P nuked by like 3.5%. So for those that say, oh, crypto can't pump when the equities are weak, they can, but there has to be some context, right? There has to be some major context. And if you guys remember, in the summertime of last year, stocks were absolutely destroying crypto. The only thing that we were able to trade during that summer period outside of Caspa was Rollbit, Ox, Unibot, Ticker Bitcoin, and I don't know, betting on hamsters, right? If you guys were active, during that time period. And brother, you can name any month. Like if you want to test me right now, name any month since December of 2017, and I can probably tell you the price action. If you want to test me right now, brother, do it live on stream, man. Live on stream. Bring up anything.
January 2023.
January 2023. All right. Look, I'm going to look to the left, right? So you can kind of test me on this, right? So the opening tick, right? On January.
Motherfucker, you have something written on the wall.
Yeah, right. You got the Bitcoin chart up on the wall.
Look. All right. So January 1st, right? The yearly open basically was like 16.2 to 16.4. And then by the second week, we had a pump from 16K-ish all the way to like 20K within like, I think it was like a 2-hour candle. It was during that CPI reading, right, on the second week of January. Damn. And then later on that month, we pumped to like 23K-ish. And during that time frame, Solana pumped from like $9 all the way to like 27, 28 within 2 weeks. Aptos went from like $3 to $20. Floki went crazy going into the February.
What the fuck? Okay, guys, for everybody who's watching this, I swear to God, we didn't plan this. I swear to God, to anybody's like, look at me, I didn't plan this. I had no idea that he's gonna say something, but he's super accurate. In January 2023, Bitcoin pumped from 16K to 23K. Louis, this guy is crazy, man. What the fuck?
Wabi is the market.
Dude, like even though like my personal like private, not personal private, but like personal profile is mainly just like shit posting with the occasional, I guess, alpha thread or analysis. Like I live and breathe this, and I think like if you want to last in crypto and be here for the long run, which I do intend to do because this market gives me life, you actually have to live and breathe it, right? You can't.
I agree.
All right, let me just like see what today's price action looks like and all that stuff. Like, no, like you actually have to like be locked in at all times. And the amount of like tickers that I've seen at super low market caps that escape me because, I'm just like, oh, never mind. There'll always be another one has been relentless. Like I saw smoking chicken fish. This is pain. And it's the funniest thing ever. Smoking chicken fish. Yes. I saw this thing, right? And this is something
you want to share something, so should I stop?
No, it's going to be really quick, and then I'll go back to you. It'll be like 30 seconds.
Sure.
So I saw this thing at like 3 mil, 5 mil market cap, something like that, right? And then like within 15 minutes, I kid you not, Ansem shares it. And immediately you see here, boom, like straight to 20 mil in an hour. I'm like, oh man, I missed it. That's it. It's over. And then the sucker pumps to like almost 100 mil.
You are in the trenches, man. I have to give you that. I don't know if I would resist there. I don't know if I would make it there, but you are deep in the trenches, way deeper than I am. So.
But like I've stepped on some landmines. I'll say that. Like it's not always sunshine and rainbows, right? But,
I bet.
But Spread, man, what have you got here for us, man? I see you've got our favorite picker. I know
when this motherfucker doomers started talking shit about, and parading in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 days since the S&P 500 and Nasdaq started pulling back, I was just like, What the fuck are you talking about? Are you out of your minds? We have finally the rotation that you have been preaching for the last 6-9 months. So for the last 6-9 months, they have been pounding sand, and they're like saying, oh, only the Max 7, the breadth is weak. The other companies, they are not rallying. We just have some concentration. We don't have like a spreaded rally, etc. I was like, okay, so now that we have a spreaded rally, and now that we have IWM absolutely rallying, how can we be bearish? Like technicalities, right? We have Nasdaq and S&P and Dow Jones pulling back and now bouncing, but you have the IWM, which has a picture perfect. This is a textbook bullish pennant. So in order for us to measure this, you just take the bottom side from where the rally started to the top side of the pennant. You just copy paste it, and this is your fucking target. Sorry that I'm a bit rude, but I get so frustrated with these doomers and perma bears selling their newsletters when it comes to fear, because it's very easy to sell fear to people. And there you go. You have 243 as a potential target. This is a textbook bullish pennant. Just look it up and you will see that it actually aligns with the previous all-time high from here. So if we have the IWM outperforming Nasdaq, outperforming Bitcoin, and I think it outperformed now as we're speaking year to date, it's outperforming Nasdaq. So what is else to be said about this? We have a resilient economy in the United States. We have the GDP, which is still stable. We have a resilient job market. Yes, we start to see some shaky moves, but this is up to Fed to cut sooner rather than later. And if you remember, and I think we spoke about it like 2 or 3 shows ago, I said that in the beginning of last year, in the beginning of 2023. So yeah, in the beginning of last year, we had Silicon Valley falling, we had First Republic falling, so the regional banks, right? One of the big, and I don't see people talking about this, one of the biggest reasons why all the IWM is rallying right now is because of the regional banks, because of the KRE. So right now, the regional banks in the United States, so the KRE ETF is absolutely clinical. Look at this. It's rallying and it has like a beautiful sequence which lasts since May of higher highs and higher lows. And because of this, we see the IWM rallying as of today. Now we also have the BKX, which is rallying, so the big bank index in the United States. And like I said, markets are forward looking, but people seem to forget that. Now from a hiking cycle, we go to a cutting cycle. Because of this, credit conditions in the United States are going to improve. No, this does not mean that we're going to have the bazooka monetary policy that we had after COVID. It just means that people and big and smart investors know this, and they know that the margin for banks in the upcoming 6 to 18 months are going to improve. Why? Because the credit conditions are going to improve. Why? Because Federal Reserve most likely is going to a cutting cycle. And if the Federal Reserve is going to a cutting cycles, businesses, your average Joes, home builders, etc., they're going to do much better because they're going to also refinance. They're going to also borrow more. If they're going to borrow more, means that the margins for banks, means that the stocks for banks are going to go better. And if this shaky sector of the United States economy, shaky, I'm saying from last year, now is also improving, what are your bullets if you're a perma bear or perma doomer in order to still sustain your super bearish theory short to medium term, even longer term right now? It's a black fucking swan that can come, I don't know, out of the blue. But besides that, we have underlying data that sustains that as we are talking today, BKX, KRE, IWM are doing pretty nicely, and going forward, I still think that they're going to do very well. So I don't know. Seeing IWM rallying and being bearish on altcoins is like you're just pissing money.
Yeah, I think we're either in one of these two scenarios, right? Like IWM breaks out, makes a new all-time high, and then we probably replicate. You can pull out the Bitcoin chart, and I'm not even going to look at my screen. So if you remember, late July, I'm not even looking at my screen, rather. Late July 2021, we had that massive pump from like 28K to 42K. And then we were basically going into the mid 40s in August. And then we had that massive pump all the way going into early September to about like 53-ish, 55-ish. And then like on September 8th, we had that nuke to 38K. And then we had that V reversal. All coins made all-time highs. Luna.
You're talking about 2021. You're talking about 2021, right?
Yeah, 2021. And then, we went off to have that beautiful quarter 4, right, where Bitcoin opened up at like 48K, and then, you know, we peaked out in early November, and alts had that little echo bubble after that, right? So it could be something where we have a sustained pump all the way through like early September, rather than topping out in mid-August as we have over the last, like, you know, 2 years, right? August of 2022, we peaked out in mid-August at like 25.2K. August 2023, we peaked out at like 31K, right? We had like, I think it was like a double top, right? Because we actually, I think it was a triple top, because in late June, we hit 31K, and then we hit 31K again in mid-July when XRP had that, you know, 100+% pump. And then, you know, we had a little breakdown in 27, and we had one more final pump to like 31-ish, right? So my bet is like probably what we've done over the last 2 years, just because we've been so integrated with TradFi over the last 2 years, where like I just don't see anything really changing sustainably, right? And in 2021, right, like we still had some QE going on, right? So what do you guys think, man? Like, do you think we also top out in August, or are you of the belief that, like, you know, because of these ETFs, because IWM about to go into price discovery, we might just pump all the way through like early September-ish, and then that can be a local top?
Louis, take it away, man. Well, I also want to hear what you think about this.
Well, yeah. So we'll talk to about my chart in a second, but just following just like what we've seen historically with Bitcoin, not basically 900 to 1,000 days, from low to high, you know, market low to market cycle peak. So that 900 to 1,000 days puts us around a cycle end, at least for Bitcoin peak, somewhere around end of Q1, early Q2. So like, you know, April, May of next year, if we follow that specific cycle, that's where it would put us. Can the ETFs change that? In the past, we've heard that time and time again. You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, institutions are here. This time's different. We're getting the mega cycle. But actually, this time, the institutions are actually here. Now, the way and the money flow of how people invest in legacy markets is different. You know, people kind of have that reoccurring buy, whether it's a 401k, whether it's a pension fund, whether it's a state. You know what I mean? And these flows are continuous in the stock market, and you see that on a zoomed out chart. That's why the chart just continues to go up. I mean, it has bear markets, it has downturns like we're seeing now. But that's why it just continues to go up, because there are continuous flows into the stock market, passive flows. So will it change it? I don't know. What I'm going to do, I don't like to put price targets on it. I don't like to put time targets on it. I'm going to be basing off, like, you know, going into the end of this year around election. I'm sure we'll have some more volatility, either like right before it or right after the decision on the election. So we might see some volatility there. So I'll be looking to maybe, you know, if we have to be on a risk off mode there, or at least pull some chips off the table. And if not that, you know, early next year, or, you know, closer to Q2 next year is a period where I'll be looking to be, you know, looking for signs for weakness, because that's historically what we've seen. And until otherwise, I can't go off anything else by, you know, saying that this time is going to be different and just hoping. You know what I mean? So I got to go with the data's giving me. So your target of around August does make sense to me. You know, we're slightly up by a couple months, but what's a couple months amongst friends, you know?
You're muted. You're muted, Wabi.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's a couple thousand amongst friends? What's a couple of months among friends? But yeah, usually crypto cycles, they typically peak out 18 months right after the halving, right? So, you know, Q4, right? Maybe, like, in my opinion, I think most of the upside from top to bottom for Bitcoin, I have that same time frame. I think by like Q1 of next year, going into Q2, most of the upside for Bitcoin for this cycle from top to bottom, it's probably done. Probably. Maybe like an extra 20% off of that, right? Something like that, because that's simply just off of the dynamic that, like, crypto cycles typically peak out like right around the holiday season, when total 3 looks up only, right? When total DeFi is up only. And then, you have the normie retails gathered amongst friends on Thanksgiving or Christmas. That is when everything tends to top, right? But dude, if you pull up total 3 right now, it is a very sad chart. It is very sad. And,
I would argue that. I would say total 3 looks like it's about to break out.
We'll see, brother. We'll see, man. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, right? Like, it's going to take a lot more than just like the money within this, crypto ecosystem to actually make an all-time high. Or I think, no, that's total. I'm talking total 3. Total 3.
Okay. So like altcoin market cap?
Basically, man. That's the real. That's
this
the
is my
real
altcoin market cap chart.
That's the real sucker right there, man. But
yeah, so this is my view on altcoin market cap, and that is that we are in a giant consolidation continuation pattern. And if I had to compare it to last cycle, I showed this chart on Market Check. I think it was it Tuesday this week. If I had to put a guess as to where I think we are, let me kind of zoom out a little bit longer. I think we're right around here where we were last cycle. We are still below these 2 complacent shoulder highs here for the altcoin market cap. We came out of the bear market lows, got a nice 5 to 6 month consolidation after the move out of the lows from the bear market, and then it was off to the races once we broke these complacent shoulder highs here. And that's kind of where we're at. I think we are at right now. If I take this line out, just not to confuse everybody, but we had our bear market lows. We had our initial run up out of the bear market lows. We are still below this, complacent shoulder high here for altcoin market cap, and we are consolidating. This is a clear consolidation continuation pattern. I'm sure MisterSpread would agree with me. That looks as if we're about to break out. And go into that next phase of the market cycle. And historically, altcoin market cap, not only do we get back to the old all-time highs, we usually smash it. So, I mean, as of right now, I think sooner rather than later, we're going to be at, a $1.1 trillion market cap for altcoins. If the market continues to follow what we've seen in previous cycles.
I will second what Louis said here, and I have a beautiful chart to actually sustain what he's saying. This is something that I kept saying and repeating, and I think a lot of more people should add to their framework and to their analysis. Is the global liquidity. So it's a very nice indicator by Miguel Finance, and you can find it here. And the global liquidity chart right now, this is not technical analysis, by the way. Are just some levels that I'm watching. Just made a new all-time high. So the global liquidity is increasing. Please do not believe these macro doomers, perma bears, when they're telling you that yes, we have quantitative tightening, but we also had tapering. So right now, from pulling out money from the global total money supply, actually now we are increasing the total money supply. Because of this, and when we see this from going from a crabby market, like kangarooish market, like sideways market, when I see this kind of signs, these are leading indicators that some massive moves to the upside, right, will follow. And I have some white areas on my chart. By the way, this is the money supply of the 5 biggest economies in the world, dollarized, right? So I have United States, China, Japan, and Euro. Actually 4, not 5. So what happened in October 2023 when the global money supply and also this country's money supply bottomed out? Just take a look what happened in October when these ones bottomed. S&P 500 rallied, NASDAQ rallied, Dow Jones rallied, Bitcoin rallied, and everything else also rallied. Look also what happened in March when this topped out, right? We had that big pullback, like the macro pullback that we had. And also look what happened in April when this started going higher. All in all, it's not even important to watch out for these kind of areas. I just marked them out. It's important to see the trajectory of this. And if the global money supply is going higher, we all know that Bitcoin and also crypto loves liquidity. So most likely Bitcoin, look at this, and also S&P 500 is just gonna follow it. I cannot be anything but bullish under the current market conditions and with the data that we have available at our disposal. And Wabi, that we talked about this, and when you invited me in this lovely show, I told you regarding the USDT market cap. When I see the global money supplies and also these biggest economies in the world, money supplies going higher, plus I see that the USDT market cap continues to increase, correlated with the USDT dominance. Let me restore the connection. Correlated with the USDT dominance going lower. So in one hand, I have the global liquidity, which is going to influence in a positive way Dow Jones, Nasdaq, S&P, IWM. In another positive way, I have the USDT market cap, which is increasing, right? And I have the USDT dominance chart, which is going lower. So more money are coming in inside the crypto space, but actually they are not parked in stable coins. They are deployed to crypto. They are deployed to Bitcoin. They are deployed to everything else. I don't know why this is not loading. It should load right now. Let me close one of the other charts. Let's see if this is going to work and make it work. It should work. Hold on. Yeah. Now, this is something a bit unorthodox. The only indicator that I use is Ichimoku. And I think it was in the beginning of July when I posted a video and an analysis on it. And I said, whenever we're going to see that the USDT dominance goes lower and lower and lower, and under this threat, under this trend, most likely we will see the crypto prices going higher. And I said that we might tap the Kijun, which is this blue line from Ichimoku, but I'm not going to go into all details and explain the full technicalities from Ichimoku. But just by looking at this, I'm trading with this indicator for the last 17 years. For the last 7 years. And what I have found is that whenever I have this on weekly, so whenever the price of an asset, it's very crazy for me, but I just tested out for the last 6 months. Whenever the price of an asset, it's in a downtrend and it's far from the Kumo, which means cloud in Japanese, it's very unlikely that this is going to break like this. The downtrend for the USDT dominance, it's extremely, extremely powerful. Even with this, I'm just going to retweet the former thread, and you're going to see how beautiful this was respected. This, we are very far, and the thicker this Kumo, or the thicker this cloud is, the more powerful the trend is. So I don't think that people are actually ready for what type of move we can have once USDT dominance goes through these lows. I have my targets. It's still 4.22. And actually, it's around 3.8 around November, December of this year. So money supply is increasing in the crypto space, but it's not parked in stable coins, and actually it's churned, and we can see that because it's moved to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, etc. So I'm extremely bullish on this. Plus, we discussed about another one. It's others versus others/Bitcoin. This looks also like a very nice double bottom. I'm deployed, man. I just deployed more money in something that is a little bit more riskier. I don't think it's so risky. Maybe it's risky for some other people, but I haven't made any purchases for quite some time in spot, just Bitcoin lately, and I just bought Pepe for the first time at these current values. For me, this is a big signal of risk on. If me, in my type of framework and with my system, I bought Pepe last week, I mean, why would I do that if I would think that we are going lower or we are not going to go higher, etc.? I just like whatever the market gives me right now, from the fundamental side, but also from the technical side.
And one thing I'll say, man, is I think others usually tops out, others and Total 3, like right when they're like 5 to 10% away from Bitcoin's total market cap. I think that's a pretty good indicator, man. But the thing with others, man, is that like we have to factor in that like 98% of the altcoins right now, they're just going to have emissions. Like there's just almost zero bid outside of a few tickers on Solana and Ethereum, right? Like most things on AVAX are dead. Most things on Polkadot are dead. Matic never really had an ecosystem. BNB, I mean, maybe BNB gets to like $250 billion this cycle. But outside of like what's trending now, right? Like there's not, a huge Ponzi like there was last cycle, right? I think the biggest mistake that we make, right, when we compare, this cycle to last cycle is that we sometimes forget that last cycle we had a ton of these massive DeFi platforms, right? Like Aave TVL is still like well below where it was last cycle, right? Same thing with Compound, same thing with Maker, all the big ETH DeFi platforms, right? Like if you take a look at Total DeFi, that thing looks horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And I think we'll really see where things we'll really see how things are going to play out once Ethereum is at all-time high, right? But I do see the comment section talking about Dime. Brother, I sold Dime near $8, and after Celestia, I rotated it into Pepe at sub $1 bill. So the comment section wants to get spicy. Brother, I will serve you hot chili sriracha sauce on a platter, baby. I will bring on Jamaican spicy chicken wings if we want to get spicy. But yeah, dude, even talking about like VC coins, right? Like there's just no appetite for them, dude, at all whatsoever. And I think like all of that's probably going to be contingent on ETH BTC, right? Like when we talk about ETH BTC, we're basically looking at those VC coins, right? We're looking at those like high market cap tokens like Say, Sui, Tia, ENA, I think is going to be big at some point when ETH breaks all-time high. When you see ETH break all-time high, I think at that point, that's when like, you know, we can see what others in Total 3 is really made out of, right? Like, man, I just get kind of depressed when I look at ETH BTC, man, to be frank. Like, you've been holding that thing for 2 years since the bottom at $800. It's like
I mean, I think it got wrecked yesterday, or the day before. But I mean, I don't really mind it, only because like Bitcoin is still like heading higher. You know what I mean? If like we were nuking, I'd be like, you know what I mean? But I mean, the fact that Bitcoin is heading higher, we had a nice bounce off Bitcoin. ETH, we're starting to bounce here. I'm not as much concerned about that loss of that level, just because I know where we are in the cycle. And the fact that we're getting bounces and we're creating higher lows here on Bitcoin and ETH, it makes me feel a lot better about losing that level. Because realistically, even if you look at Bitcoin dominance, I have it here somewhere. Realistically, we have one more stab up on Bitcoin dominance, in my opinion.
I agree.
Before this like churn higher, finally completes, like we saw here last cycle. We had this nice big run of the highs here, and then it was just game over, and it was game on for alts. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like this, came into this level, and that's the end for Bitcoin dominance. And even if we did get this move for Bitcoin dominance at this stage in the cycle, I still think a lot of stronger altcoins will outperform over the next couple of weeks if we get a move like this, only because a lot of them are bouncing off lows. You know what I mean? So rather than waiting for this flip in Bitcoin dominance, waiting for this flip in ETH BTC, personally, I'd rather have a seat ready to go, because if you don't, and it happens quick, which it does in this market, you're going to end up chasing. That's my take on that.
I agree with Louie here, and the fact that a lot of people are still taking ETH BTC like a super big indicator, I think it was just a skill issue, because I think you just have to adapt to the new metas that we had this cycle. And I'm not saying that ETH BTC is not going to be an indicator. Obviously, when ETH BTC is going to rally, we're also going to see the dinosaur coins rally. But if you're going to wait until ETH BTC is going to rally, most likely you're just going to have the last part of the cycle. Or I'm not going to say that it's not good to wait, but you're just going to have just a little bit part of the move to catch up on it. ETH BTC, I think, is nuking right now because of grayscale. Bitcoin is right and dandy. You know, we just completed that inverse head and shoulders, and we just tapped the 68K area. All while we had the ETH ETF running with the grayscale dumping. So I think exactly like Louis said, I don't see any reasons to worry. It's just that we're not going to have that broader altcoin market all season that everybody is waiting, or I don't know if everybody, maybe the lazier people are waiting, because you're not going to see your AVAX, you're not going to see your Aave, you're not going to see your Polkadot, you're not going to see your Matic or all the other older ones, XRP, etc., are rallying, Litecoin, Chainlink, without ETH BTC outperforming Bitcoin. So I don't think it's actually something bad. I still want to see that classical thing doing its thing, right? I still want to see Bitcoin rallying, but smashing the all-time highs, not just fucking around 74. I want to see Bitcoin above 80, maybe around 84, 90K. After that, taking a breather. Ethereum catching up after Grayscale and Berry are going to stop selling, and ETH BTC outperforming. And at that point in time, I think then is going to be the time when altcoins are going to rally across the board. The thing is exactly like Louis said, when we're going to have that type of scenarios, the ones which are outperforming currently or outperforming in the last 6 to 9 months most likely will outperform your backholder bags, or they're going to outperform dots, matics, etc. So when we're going to have the classical all season with a few outliers, most likely Pepe is going to outperform the fuck out of the market. We're going to see Jupiter, Radium, Solana, BNB, and all the WIF, Brett, etc., whatever outperform in the last 6 months, they're gonna still outperform the older ones, because, and I spoke about this, there are people who are gonna dampen the rallies. There are still people who are gonna sell out of fear, anxiety, desperation, or just they had enough. So every time when you're gonna have a structure going higher, you're gonna have people from the other cycles which are gonna dump on it, and they're gonna suppress the potential beautiful rally that we could have had. But this is the nature of the market.
I want to go ahead and share something with the audience. So, in case you guys didn't know, you can actually go on CoinGecko and kind of see like where baskets of alts and the respective sectors are, right? So, you'll see L1s and proof of work and smart contracts in the top 3, right? You'll see their market cap and their volume, but look at what we have here, guys, right? We have meme coins all the way down on the 19th spot. And I think, right, once you see memes, which is just about 54 billion 54 billion? Yeah, 54 billion in market cap, and you see that thing going into the top 5, right around here, that's probably when you want to kind of chill out a little bit. And, just to give some perspective here in the audience, guys, right, like last cycle, right, Doge's market cap alone, right, eclipsed the total meme market cap that we have right now in this market. Doge achieved like 85 bill. And if you want to get really, really, really crazy, right, just take a look at Cardano, right? Max market cap, damn near 100 billion, right? One thing that I'm comparing it to, though, it's probably BNB. BNB was like the original Degen hub last cycle. For those of you that were, participated in Binance Smart Chain, 100 bill. So I think memes at the very least have like a 2 to 3x, 4x before the cycle is over, right? But at the same time, like, who's to say that all those other sectors aren't going to go, absolutely bazooka, right? But some questions in the chat. Can we get a Caspa update? Bearish divergence on weekly and monthly time frame. And someone else was asking about.
I have the Andy chart if you want to pull it
Yeah.
up. So Andy, like its big brother Pepe, as we are talking and as we are speaking right now, it has the similar structure, right?
We have the same exact Pepe chart. It's so funny.
You know why I think, Louis? Because you're also a price follower and you don't mess around with 15 indicators, with all those type of nonsenses like bling blings, etc. You're a price follower, and I saw that in your charts, and I think that's why we vibe. So this is what I see on Andy. I'm not going to overcomplicate anything. This is an important level, but I think this is a whole structure here. So once we're going to get above, let me double check here. Once we're going to get around above 17 million, if I'm not mistaken here, I think it's going to be clear skies, but the real action starts above 20 mil, right? So once we're going to see it here, this is the initial neckline, but I don't usually like this kind of inclined necklines. I would rather see it above 20 million, and after that we're going to open 26 and then the all-time highs. This is what I see on Andy short to medium term.
Right. Yeah, I have something similar. I also have a Casper chart too. If
sure.
Let's do Andy.
Guys, in the meantime, go ahead and smash that like button. If you're here, go ahead and smash that like button. We're here every Friday at 2:30 p.m. EST to talk all things crypto markets, narratives, and dubious speculation. And of course, we also go live here at 11 a.m. EST, Monday through Friday. But myself, I have my own stream here every Friday, and we also do Twitter Spaces Monday through Thursday at 4:20 or 4:30 p.m. EST. So if you're new here to the channel, welcome to Because Bitcoin. We love talking all things markets, equities, crypto, all that good stuff. So if you want to go ahead and follow us, link is in the description down below. Go ahead and follow Louie. Go ahead and follow MisterSpread and follow us here Because Bitcoin. Link should be somewhere in the description down below. We've discussed a ton of things. We've discussed, the aspect of Sol versus ETH, the state of the altcoin market, how we see the cycle playing out, and also, what's going on with the spot ETH ETF and the dubious speculation that we love so much in these markets, man. But man, truth be told, I think there's a lot of things going on Solana. I'll go ahead and mention that one last time. Like, I think there are some blue chips on Sol that are about to replicate exactly what the blue chips on ETH did in February. And I don't think many people are anticipating that, man. Like, people aren't going to pay attention to Retardio or GigaChad or Billy until they're almost at $1 billion in market cap, and that's just the way things work, right? Like, nobody cared about Pepe. Ponky, that I consider that a blue chip also, right? Like, nobody really cares about stuff until they're almost at $1 billion in market cap. You want to know what happens, guys? When you get super enthusiastic because you're early on a trade, you'll have a ton of new followers come in, and then, right, when you have a massive pullback, they'll say, "Oh, you suck. You used me as exit liquidity." And it's like, brother, I've been talking about this thing since 50 mil market cap, and it's now up 20x. What do you expect after such a violent move? You know what I'm saying? So,
And Louis, you want to say something about the Andy chart? Because I wanna throw out an idea. I had this idea for quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, similar look to what MisterSpread was saying. We had this massive falling wedge. Finally, we reaccumulated right down here, basically flatline, started trading sideways, and we got the breakout out. And now we've seen a lot of chop around this level after, recapturing this key level. Why is it a key level? Well, just look to price, look to the left. Massive amount of touches on this support supply/demand area. And the same thing. This is a clear downtrend. In Andy, it is a little slanty, so it's not the textbook one you want to see. And also, I noticed this morning, which is a little more speculative, of course, but I'm noticing we also kind of deviated this level as well. We came down, we've been chopping around here, we deviated these lows. I guarantee a lot of people panic sold right here on this move down because it looked like we were losing a key level. We got bought back up super quick, back above this level. So this is a classic deviation spring setup, in my opinion. And last time we saw something like that was around here. And you could see exactly what happened. We had this key, ascending trend line here. We deviated below it. Everyone thought we lost the key level, probably puked their bags, got back above, and then the spring, and it was see you later, and we saw just around 300 million market cap for Andy. So I can see something very similar like that playing out literally right now. We got the deviation. We do have to hold this level here for a reclaim. And if we do, and we start chopping up in here under this trend line, I really do think this is going to start to expand again to the upside. And if I had to give a target, or at least a local target on Andy, it's probably around 500 million market cap here. And if we just take a measured move, another 3.5x for Andy. So there is opportunity on ETH as well. But Sol has been the leader. Same way it led out of the bear market. Sol was the first mover, and the fact that Sol and the Sol meme coins are really starting to pump and get money flow back into them is a great sign for me. So I do really like that, Wabi.
let me ask you guys this, man. So why is it, right, that like a lot of things that would have catched the major bid last cycle, right? Maybe something like an Arbitrum or a Say or a TIA, right? Even in these market conditions, if this was 2020, right, they would have still caught a massive bid, but they really only pumped once, and they've kind of just been dead for multiple months now. Why do you think that is now, guys. And
Is the reason why I said before, Wabi. They're the old tech. They're not the new shiny thing, and they have a lot of backholders. Plus the issuance, like you said, it has a lot of. They have still maybe inflation. They have people who are trapped from higher levels. So every time when these coins try to rally, they are the people from the left side of the chart who are going to suppress the price. That's why I think it's a optimal type of approach to search and to find either charts which broke out and now they're retesting the all-time highs, like even Kaspa, or to search for charts that are about to break above the all-time highs, exactly like Kaspa is doing. Because look, there is nothing in the left side of Louie's chart right now. There is nothing from higher values to suppress the price. Once Kaspa is gonna go, Kaspa can rally 150, 200% in maybe even less than 1 week, because there are
no sellers.
There is no sell pressure. That's why it's called freaking price discovery. Once you go in price discovery, you don't have any more natural resistances, and you don't have the backholders who are gonna dampen those beautiful rallies that can come. That's the reason. And plus, they're the older tech. They're not the new shiny thing. They're fallen out of the attention economy that we are right now.
Yeah, attention economy really is a thing. And like, I was saying this on Spaces, but like, the killer application this cycle, it's probably not going to be some DeFi protocol. It's probably going to be some crypto native app. And I've been talking about Moonshot, and mind you, I'm not sponsored.
Is that Sol only, Wabi?
Say what?
Is it Sol only, or is it all?
It's all Sol.
Only Sol.
Yeah, and like, if these people don't rug, because I don't know, bro. Like when it comes to like crypto, Web 2 apps, like we had Celsius and all that stuff, but context doesn't matter, right? Celsius and BlockFi, they got rugged because of their lending practices. And in this app, all you can do is buy and sell memes. So, you can't really borrow or lend. And the fact that like it's slowly starting to capture attention organically, like slowly, right? It's not like parabolic, everybody knows about it, but I've been talking about this for a week and a half, and it's slowly starting to catch wind. And dude, the fact that you can buy memes with Apple Pay just like that, it's genius, dude. And I think that we need more apps like that. And they also don't destroy you on fees like MoonPay. If you guys ever used MoonPay, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think like, once you start seeing apps like that, and also when Robinhood starts adding in more altcoins, like when they re-add Solana, and also when you see Coinbase stock, if you guys can pull out Coinbase stock for me.
I have it.
Just to add some more context here, we don't know how this cycle is truly going to be like until we start seeing crypto native companies, right, like a Coinbase, break all-time high. And as a matter of fact, right, like you could even say there's probably going to be more crypto companies like Kraken doing an IPO, right? And I think that's probably a benchmark to say like, all right, cycle top is probably going to happen when like, the third biggest exchange in the world, Kraken, has an IPO, right?
If you can pull up the Coinbase chart, I have it here. I think we spoke also about this. I rarely trade stocks, but I think that this is one of the most cleanest, higher highs and higher lows chart that I have witnessed in the last few years. I mean, Coinbase, since the lows in 2023, has done nothing but a clean structure of higher highs and higher lows. I mean, I cannot be bearish. The only time when I'm going to be bearish on this puppy is if we're going to lose 115. I don't know in what type of context currently. Coinbase stock can drop 56%. I don't think that this can happen. I just pulled the trigger last week, and I have my first target here with the nice higher high. But look at this, like low, high, higher low, higher high, and look at this.
And it still hasn't even made an all-time high.
No, it's not.
As a matter of fact, Spread, I think you'll like this. What if CoinStock is doing the same thing that OM, right, Mantra DAO did, right? Where it's just this relentless bleed, multiple months of accumulation, and then when it breaks all-time high, it does a quick 200% move. right?
I would not be surprised. My target was 400, as you can see it here for the culture, 420.69. That's my target for the
That'd be
all-time high.
beautiful, man. That'd be beautiful. But dude, same thing with Robinhood, right? Like both Robinhood and Coinstock for me, that's retail sentiment, right? When I see Coinstock and Robinhood stock go to the upside, that is your retail gauge. Last cycle, we had the stock bros come into crypto. And it's going to be the same thing this cycle. And when the stock bros come into crypto, the stock bros tell their friends to go into crypto before stocks. You know what I'm saying? And you know what happens? They buy crypto at the top. They say, oh no, crypto's a scam. And then they end up buying stocks in a bear market. Because when crypto's in a bear market, stocks are in a bear market. The two, it's the same trade. It's the same thing. Although you might have like, is Louis speaking?
He's muted.
We need Wabi. We need exit liquidity. So it's
Yeah,
all right.
man. Yeah,
We
baby.
can take the stock traders lunch. It's all right.
Yeah, dude.
Let's do another thing. I need to repost some of my previous work because I think we were somewhere in April when I was speaking about the inverse correlation between the 10-year bond yields and the risk assets. And at that point in time, I didn't even remember the video. I said, what if this is the bearish structure on the 10-year bond yields? And we have like here, we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high. And somewhere here, this is my target. You're going to see it now when I'm going to move to the daily chart. My target for September, October year end is going to be around 3.6 for the 10-year bond yields, and this is perfectly inversely correlated with risk assets. And every time when we had, for example, look what happened to crypto, look what happened to S&P 500 when the 10-year bond yields rallied from May until from the middle of May until the end of May. Every time when the 10-year bond yields rally, you have a pullback in risk assets every time. And right now, even from here, I remember that I was having some debates with someone which I really respected in the past, but time flies and we have to move on. And this is a clear bearish structure. It was a massive falling wedge.
Wow.
I don't know why people didn't see it. It was super clean. And after this, we retested it and we started this downtrend, like lower highs and lower lows. This is my first target, and it's going to be around 4%. But I had this since, as you can see here, since May. This is my target for year end, around 3.6. And if this happens, and I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because Federal Reserve cutting rates means that bond yields go lower. And as we're going to go lower on this, because we're inversely correlated with the risk assets, most likely Bitcoin, NASDAQ, S&P, IWM is going to go higher. So these are my targets for year end, 4%. And after that, around 3.6 for the 10-year bond yields. And I think this is the time to buy bonds if you're a boomer and wear diamonds, not like it was in the past, but not even now. I think we're going to go full risk on. And what if, guys, hear me out, Wabi, Louie, everybody who is watching, what if this cycle is different from one perspective? Because in 2020, 2021, we have the bazooka monetary policies from Federal Reserve and other central banks. What if in this cycle, because the institutions are here and they're buying Bitcoin and they're buying Ethereum through the ETFs, like Louis said, like continuing buying, we're not going to have the same type of velocity. So we're not going to go parabolic, but instead we're going to have, like, I'm going to say it here, this is going to be a trademark, the boomer cycle for cryptos. What if we're just going to churn higher all through 2025, and we're going to have that big market stock market crash after Trump is installed? Like, what if we're going to just go higher and higher all through 2025, and the stock market is going to crash around 2026 or year end of 2025? So what if this cycle is going to be the boomer cycle because of the ETFs, right? So we're not going to have those parabolic moves. We're just going to have like those trending highs and those drops and just going higher like this. And it's going to continue more because no parabolic and means not like a steep drop like we
drop
have.
as much.
Yeah. So we're just going to go higher with something like that.
I can see it. I mean, I can see it. The only argument to that I would have to say is that because we've consolidated for so long on Bitcoin for like 4 or 5 months, I don't think we got that consolidation just to kind of slowly grind higher. Maybe like after like a kind of like a big impulse out of this range we've seen, then maybe like we could start seeing it. But that would be, but anything's possible. Like I would have to agree that we are finally in a different era. We have a new buyer. Like we're in a whole different league of things at this point. with how, and we probably will start to trade similar to how equities trade. But I still think they're still maybe a little farther off from that, and maybe even next cycle we'll start to see something like that. And like I said, my argument would be just how long we've consolidated for. I don't think we did that consolidation just to kind of trickle higher here. I think it's going to be quick. I think it's going to be a big move out and impulse to the upside.
I mean, guys, just
not.
take a look. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, it's not impossible.
I was just gonna say, like, to just take a look at Nvidia stock, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'll go ahead and pull it up, right? Like, if you just take a look at Nvidia stock, right? Nvidia stock was basically right around where Bitcoin's market cap was at the start of the year, and it's up 134% year to date. So who's to say you still can't have, maybe next year's yearly open is like 90K or something. Who's to say that Bitcoin can't do 100% year to date from opening tick of the yearly open next year all the way to Q4, right? Who's to say that can't happen, right? So
I got you, Wabi. I got the perfect chart for your for your theory. There you go, brother.
Show them the fractal. Oh, that works too. Giant cup and handle. I like it.
The target for this would be like around mid 2025, around 128, 130,000. That's the projected target based on this cup and handle. Obviously, we have to break above 75K.
Yeah. And the first boss for Bitcoin this cycle is probably going to be the 0.618, which is like right at 83K and change. That'll probably be like the first, because again, dude, you can even pull up the SPX, right? From the bottom of October of 2022 all the way to its recent top a few weeks ago, SPX topped out right at the 1.618. So right when Bitcoin does the same thing, it's probably going to pull back to like 70K.
Well, pull up even better. Pull up Nvidia, like you were talking about. Sorry, spread.
Yeah.
Nvidia, just to guys get context, what I was talking about, this massive multi-month range we've been in Bitcoin. If you go back to like July of 2023 spread, like how long was that range for? That's a multi-month range, and look what happens once you break out of that range. It's not a slow grind up. You're going parabolic at that point. And that's what it takes to gear up and for whales to accumulate. It takes these massive ranges, which I think what we've been in this Bitcoin part of the cycle, and that's why so many people have been shaken out, because whales trying to accumulate. That's what they have to do. They have to force people to buy. They have to force people to sell over and over and over again. You get that chop. People get tired, and people are in altcoins, so it's even more extreme for them. And then eventually, once you do break out of a range like this, look what happens. Like, look at Nvidia. Like, that's a parabola, and that's straight up. And that's what I'm expecting for Bitcoin.
I can see that also. I didn't argue that we're not gonna see straight parabola, or we're not gonna have any parabola. Yeah, I was just wanted to complete it. That
I agree.
I was just thinking about.
I totally see that. I like moving forward. That was kind of my point earlier. Like, I agree. Like, eventually we're gonna be. It's like maybe we don't follow the 4-year cycle as we do, previously. You know what I mean? Eventually, like I said, reoccurring buys, different people in the market, bigger players. We might just see a slower grind up, like, over time, instead of these large, big parabolic runs that we're used to seeing. I totally agree.
Now just jumping back to Nvidia, what's funny is that I haven't opened Nvidia's chart for, I think, 3 weeks, and 10 minutes ago, Wabi was saying that the next level that he's seeing is 95, and I just pulled out my chart and look at my level is 95. I don't know, man. Wabi, I think
I'm telling you, his memory, you got like a photographic memory or something. I'm in this every day, and I can't remember prices and numbers like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, maybe I should start doing TA on my Twitter, and I'll be and then I'll leave the dreaded like 15 to 20K follower range.
Whoa. Leave something for us, brother. You have
bro,
the trenches.
You got like 60,000 followers, bro. What are you talking about?
But come on. Yeah, but you're already killing it on the trenches. You're already killing it on the trenches. So what are you going to do if you're going to start with your TA and you're going to take everything?
Man. Yeah.
You don't need to do TA in your brain.
I'll do TA, bro, on microcaps where like 90% of people just like or 90% of trades that people take in microcaps, like they fail, right? So
I just remember now looking back at this chart how much hate I had, how much hate I got because I dared to say what if this time is gonna be like this time, and because one of my buys. So I remember I bought one time when we dropped here or somewhere around this area. The first time after we broke about 32K, so I bought around 60 something, and the second time when I bought since then was around 52, and I said we buy from pessimists and we sell to optimists. Man, I got so much hate for this chart, and look where we are right now. It's like we're a few percentages away from all-time high, and like Twitter is losing their fucking mind.
I got receipts from.
Is it just me, bro, or have we been pumping?
Yeah, we've been pumping.
Like we've pumped not only during this stream but also during last Friday's stream.
Gotta keep running it back.
Yes, we have to. Remember what I just said in the beginning of the stream regarding radium, and I was like, oh, it's breaking this double bottom pattern.
You can give it to spread. Yeah, there you go.
Is breaking this double bottom pattern. We just retested, and most likely we're gonna touch this area. Same for Jupiter. We have this beautiful bull flag. Solana is gonna most likely attack this area. So even if you are watching the stream from the beginning of the stream, you already have the pure alpha right here. So bottom neckline, break, retest. This is the target. Actually, let's measure the target.
But so amazing. I love it.
13.7%. So 13.7%. would actually put it somewhere around this area. Yeah. So there you go.
Beautiful.
Jupiter.
Beautiful. Soul's leading. I love it. I mean, I'm not in much Soul, but
it's really just the Soul.
I think it's good for me because you know what's going to follow, and that's the rest of the market.
Dude, like it's really just the Solana shitters, right? And I think, like, dude, usually a few months after the halving, your winners, right? Your winners that survive, like, the summer doldrum, they win, right? So on ETH, it's Andy. You know it's Andy. I have to do the whole ticker thing because there's like a bunch of clones. It is Andy 0x68. It is Wolf 0x67. I feel like when I say 0x68 and 0x67, it's kind of like Lilo and Stitch, right? Experiment 626, right? It's so weird. But then same thing on Soul, right? Like it's it's gonna be Ponky. It's gonna be man, I hope we don't get demonetized. It's gonna be Retar, Do. It's gonna be Giga Chad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on and on. You guys know what I'm talking about. I mentioned it earlier at the stream, right? Like you already have your assets on your native L1 that are probably going to do the same thing that some of these other projects did like last cycle, right? Like, yes, you might not have your L1 of choice, right? That goes to like, from 2-3 billion because the valuations are so crazy this cycle all the way to like 80 bill. But you have, native assets on an L1 that could achieve at least like a percentage of that, right? And, I did make a thread. A couple of days ago, and I'll go ahead and share it on this on the stream here just to give you guys some context, right? But right over here on my personal profile, right, I mentioned, right, we had an Andy space, right? We have those every Wednesday. I think now they're going to be hosted at 1:30 p.m. EST. Instead of the usual 4:20, 4:30 p.m. EST. But I say here on my personal profile on X, right? We had Luna at 40 bill, we had Soul at 77, we had ADA at 93, BNB 110, Doge at 73, and yes, we haven't had the opportunity to buy an L1 that's valued at like sub 100 mil. But we have had things on these L1s that have gone through hell, right? Like Soul and ETH that have had assets reach escape velocity, right? We've had Pepe going from 300K to 1.5 bill in a couple of weeks. We had Mog go from sub 10 bill to almost half a bill. We've seen Andy and Wolf also achieve escape velocity, and that was after the event we had last year where USDC had the potential to go to zero, right? If you guys remember that SVB crisis, right? Then I mentioned here the whole coin stock and all that stuff, right? And then of course, I mentioned Soul. What happened with Bonk, right? Bonk reached escape velocity, Whiff reached escape velocity. And I simply think, right, that some of these assets, right, could achieve escape velocity. And the proof is in the pudding, right? Like your true beta, right? Your true test of how strong your altcoin is relative to the rest of the market is against that L1 of choice. So if you have something on Sol, pair it against Sol. If you have something on ETH, pair it against ETH. And then if you want to, take it up, to the right curve, right, which right curve would be the correct way this time, pair it against Bitcoin, right? Pair it against Bitcoin, every 3 to 6 months, look at how it's doing against Bitcoin, right? But
I saw a request, Wabi.
go ahead, Ponky. Yeah, go ahead, man. You can pull it up, bro.
No, I don't have Ponky. I have something else from Divine Aspirations. He was asking regarding the commercial real estate, and actually, we do have an ETF. It's called the CRE, as you can see it here, right? It's,
the CRE or KRE, man.
Yes. So someone Divine Aspirations asked for the real estate, and again, every time the doomers want to say something, you just can slap them in the face with ask me, and I can give you proper information from the markets. For example, from the carry, so from the regional banks, which pushed up the IWM lately, from the BKX, which is the big banks index in United States, the 13 biggest banks in United States, and it's an absolute ripper. And right now, someone like Divine Aspirations asked regarding the commercial real estate in United States ETF, and this is it, guys. We have been in a downtrend, so since December 2021, and guess when we bottomed? Do you remember when I shared the monetary global supply chart, the money supply? And when did that bottom? In October 2023. What did the trend on the monetary global supply was doing since then? We're just going higher, and we're going higher. Guys, it's simple. If the liquidity conditions globally improve, risk asset conditions improve, and also risk asset prices go higher. So right now, you're going to see a lot, and I saw a lot of comments, and I like because I have a lot of contrast. The real estate in San Francisco is doomed. The real estate in Chicago is doomed. There is too much supply on Zillow. We're never going to recover from this. My brother in Christ, if this is true, why is the commercial real estate ETF in the United States going higher? And newsflash, okay? So I'm going to remove my indicator. I'm going to remove my drawings, and I'm just going to watch Ichimoku. I couldn't care less. This could be orange juice. This could be copper. I don't care. Looking at this on weekly, I can tell you that we're extremely bullish, and any pullback on the commercial real estate ETF is for buying, and we have some beautiful levels to the upside. So I don't know, man, but this isn't, I didn't even think about this, but I had this trend line, I think, since last year when we were in a downtrend, right? But I just opened the chart now after 6-7 months, and this is what the chart tells me. I don't care what is here. I just care what I have in the left side. I care about the trend line, which I had it since last year, and I care about that we are making a new high. We broke above it, almost retested it, and now we are making new highs. So this is a full bullish structure, and most likely we're going to head higher. So don't believe the doomers, guys. Just look at the data that we have.
And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. We'll chart Ponky on some other episode potentially, or maybe on Market Check, who knows. But I want to thank Louie and MisterSpread for joining me here for another edition, a weekly edition of Market Rants, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. Guys, go ahead and smash up the like button. Smash it up if you enjoyed today's stream, whether you're in the audience or whether you're watching the replay. I'm King Wabi. I host these live streams every Friday at 2:30 p.m. EST here on Because Bitcoin. And we also host live streams throughout the week here on the YouTube at 11 a.m. EST, hosted by Tommy. It's called Market Check. And then later on the afternoon, myself, I'm joined by a panel of speakers for Market Talk, which is our stream on X or Twitter Spaces in the afternoon throughout the week. Spread sometimes join those. Same things with Louie, where we talk all things crypto market narratives, price action, and dubious speculation. Kind of like we did today, right? We touched upon a plethora of things. So guys, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and smash up the like button if you enjoyed. And feel free to follow Louie and MisterSpread, description box and below for all of our social links. So guys, take care. God bless you all. And it was a great stream, lads. But go ahead.
I just want to add another thing. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here with you and Louie. And guys, there is a guy that I follow. He's from Australia. His name is Ted Talks Macro. He has been involved in an unfortunate accident. Let's just put him in our prayers. You know, it's nice to have markets. It's nice to talk, but sometimes we take these kind of things for granted. So in the end, just go and follow that guy. His name is Ted Talks Macro. And just put him in your prayers because he's a very good guy from our communities all around. He had some very nice indicators indicators with liquidity. So I just want to end it with this because I think he needs our prayers and good vibes. Thank you, Wabi. Thank you, Louie. See you next time, guys.
You have a beautiful heart, brother. Amen, man. Let's keep him in our prayers. He's actually been on the show a few times, man.
I know.
I hope he recovers.
Me too.
I've only seen the comments, but geez, man, never take life for granted, ever, ever, ever.
Absolutely.
These markets, if you're in these markets and you're plugged in, consider yourself one of the luckiest people in the world. There aren't people, there are some people that can't even put like $10 to this asset class, man. So I remain grateful. So with that being said, man, thank you each and every one of you that support this brand, whether it's through, putting in bad comments, good comments, whether you've been a day one supporter or whether you've been a supporter since last week or last month or yesterday. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And also shout out to my team, Louie, Jackus, Will, Max, Tommy, Jackus, Ed, Tucker. Thank you all so much if you guys are watching this. So with that being said, take care, everyone, and we'll see you all on Monday at 11 a.m. EST for Market Check, and then later on that afternoon on X for our Twitter Spaces. So thank you all so much. It's been a wonderful, hour and a half to discuss these markets with you, gentlemen. Hope you all have a nice weekend. Take care, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and end the stream